Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wet Shaving with Angela. I'm Angela, and today's going to be a good day and a good shave. I'm going to be using some things that I recently got, as well as a razor I haven't used in a while, so let me get down to software I'm going to be using. Software shave soap of choice is going to be Mitchell's Wool Fat. I bought the refill puck for $15 at Maggard Razors, as well as the 4-ounce plastic container for $1.75 to put the puck in. Mitchell's Wool Fat is, in the wet shaving world, it's a love it or hate it kind of shave soap. There's those that love it, those that hate it. Me, I love it. I love the way it lathers. I love the slickness of it. I love the post-shave. It's an excellent soap. It's been around the brand has been around since 1893, and the formulation for Mitchell's Wool Fat shave soap has remained the same since the 1930s. And yeah, the main ingredients in Mitchell's Wool Fat are tallow and lanolin. And the lanolin comes from the fat of the sheep's wool. And it just adds a nice moisturizing property to your face. So I'm going to be using the Mitchell's Wool Fat. Now they say with MWF that if you have hard water, it's very difficult to lather. But I can prove that wrong because I have hard water. And I always get a really good lather out of Mitchell's Wool Fat. I usually use a very dense brush, or a stiff brush, or any brush really. I can get a good lather out of the fat. So that's going to be the shave soap I'm using. Aftershave of choice in the football helmet decanter by Avon, Wild Country. Wild Country to me smells just like Pinot Clubman. Which, if you don't know what Pinot Clubman is, it's the epitome of barbershop fragranced aftershaves. It literally smells like the stuff the barbershops would slap on you after they were done shaving. So that's the software. Hardware, I'm going to be using the Maggard Razors, Fall Granite, 26mm synthetic knot. Blade of choice, and a modified Supermax Blue Diamond titanium coat. And I say modified because I'm using my Wardonia Black Prince razor. And for those that don't know anything about Wardonia razors, they were made in the mid 20th century, and they took proprietary blades back in the day. Wardonia was located in Sheffield, England, and I'm going to show everyone what a modified blade for a Wardonia should look like. It should look like something like this. I was able to get little bits and pieces off where I had to get them off with a needle nose plier. Although I have heard of some people using cuticle trimmers. But I would recommend, if you're going to get a Wardonia razor, also invest in a small, very small needle nose plier, like something like you would use for jewelry. And it does take practice, and even when you get it right on removing the metal, you still have to finagle the blade to get it just even on both sides. It's an excellent shaver. The plastic parts are made out of Bakelite, and the top cap, I think, is metal. I think it's chrome-plated zinc alloy, but it's a wonderful shaver. So I'm gonna wet the face. I already had my shower. I'm gonna wet the face, lather up, and go for the first pass with the grain. Before I do that, I want to thank everybody that has watched my last video where I reviewed the Gillette Heritage Razor. Your support really motivates me to keep going forward. And I'm really happy for all my new subscribers as well as my longtime subscribers. Thank you all so very much. So how's everyone doing out there? Having good shaves out there? Have you used the Mitchell's Wool Fat? If so, tell us what you thought of it in the comments. Or maybe you've used a Wardonia razor and you'd like to share in the comments how you liked it. Tell us about your experience. And the Wild Country aftershave that I just showed earlier, I believe it's from 1968, the bottle at least, and possibly the fragrance too. It still has that classic Wild Country scent to it. And I bought that decanter, that bottle of aftershave at my local flea market for $1. There's a lady at my local flea market at the Roosevelt Mall flea market who last Sunday and the Sunday before that was selling all sorts of Avon products. 2 weeks ago, she was selling everything $1 a pop. So I bought a couple of things. 4 of the 5 items I bought from her that day had the box, including the 20 paces set, which had both Avon Leather and Avon Wild Country decanters filled with product. So I got a lot there. And then she had more products. This time, some on a dollar table, some on a 50-cent table, 3 for $1. So I picked up 4 decanters, 1 for $1 and 3 for another $1. And look at that. Look at that lather. And the scent of Mitchell's Wool Fat is just a clean, soapy scent. It's not going to clash with any aftershave product you use. Literally, it could pair well with anything. And I did use a rather wet brush on the puck of the fat. And it seems my method of using a wet brush on a hard puck seems to work really well. There we go, nice even coating. Let's just rinse the hands and dry them off so we don't drop, like I say, so we don't drop the razor. But yeah, the Wardonia razors were manufactured, from what I can remember. I did do a video a few months ago using this razor. Oh, listen to that feedback. Just mowing through 24 hours of stubble. That's what I have right now, 24 hours of stubble. Just taking it down like no one's business. And Wardonia made their razors in Sheffield, England, which, for those that know anything about Sheffield, England, long ago they were known as the City of Blades. Because they used to be home to Wade and Butcher, and Wade and Butcher was one time considered the best, even today. Vintage Wade and Butcher razors that are restored are considered some of the best straight razors in the world. Especially if you like those big, meaty chopper straight razors. But yeah, Wardonia was around from roughly the 1920s, 1930s, from what I could recall, all the way up till the 1970s when they closed up shop. Or I could be wrong. I did a video on Wardonia and I had the history in it. So if you look back in my past videos, you can watch that and get a better history lesson on that. But the one drawback of a Wardonia, obviously, is if you hate modifying blades, avoid this at all costs because you do have to modify modern blades to fit a Wardonia. But actually modifying them is not that hard. All you need is a very small jewelry style needle nose pliers, and you can remove a little bit of metal inside the cutout frame of the blade, and you'll be good to go. And Mitchell's Wool Fat is a classic shape. So I should mention, the fat, aka Mitchell's Wool Fat, is made in Bradford, is made in England, and has been around. Well, it started in 1893, but the current formula, as I said, the current formula of the shave soap has been around since the 1930s. And just like Douglas Smythe Munch mentioned, if a product has been around for decades and decades and it's remained largely unchanged, and you're having problems with it, more likely than not, it's due to the user's fault or it's user error that's to blame and not the product. And I'm going to re-wet the face and re-lather for the second pass across the grain. I'm going to add a little more water to my brush, get more moist lather going on. There we go. Nice, creamy, dense lather right there. So I would say if you're having trouble with Mitchell's Wool Fat, try some experimentation. Maybe add a little more water, maybe use a little less water on your brush. Or maybe I've heard of people using glycer, drops of liquid glycerin on the puck of Mitchell's Wool Fat, and that seems to solve the problems for some people. Try that approach if you're having problems with the fat or any hard puck soap. Try a few drops of glycerin, liquid glycerin, and that may help you out. I actually did that with my English Lather shave soap puck that's vintage, because I've been having problems with the English Lather shave soap lathering, so I put a few drops on it. It seemed to help. I'll have to experiment more with my glycerin, liquid glycerin on the English Lather soap puck, because that is a little troublesome to the lather at times. But this is just silly easy to lather. Super easy, I should say. Oh well. I will say, the auditory feedback from this razor is very loud. This is a very loud razor when it shaves the stubble. And I should say there is quite a bit of blade gap on this razor, so that could be playing into. So that could be partly why there's such a loud feedback, because there is a lot of blade gap in this razor. Let me see if I can show it to you. Let's see if we can get a good, it's roughly like that. Like that. It's hard to see, I know, but that's got a lot of blade. It has quite a bit of blade gap. Don't know what the blade gap is, haven't measured it, but it is a very assertive razor that demands your fullest attention. And don't take it lightly, because it's a Bakelite razor. It does its job like nobody needs it. It'll do its job with no problem. two little tiny nicks. So I'm going to just 2 little cuts I see. I'm going to seal them up before I re-wet the face and lather for the third pass. Could have been lack of technique because I haven't used the Wardonia Black Prince razor, the one I'm using today, in quite a while. Because, you know, like I said, you have to modify a blade and it can be a little cumbersome. But it is an excellent shaver. It's definitely an excellent shaver. Just gotta respect it and know what you're doing. Let's re-wet the face and lather up for the third and final pass against the grain. I would definitely recommend Mitchell's Wolf Fat if you're not opposed to using a shave soap that has animal products in it. Because it does have tallow in it and lanolin. So if you're a vegan, this may not be the soap. This is most likely not the soap for you. But if you're open to it, it can reward you with a very luxurious lather. You know, you just gotta add enough water to the soap and brush, and you're good to go. Once you get the correct ratio of water to soap, you're rewarded with a very thick, very dense, very creamy lather. That's also very slick. And you can find this anywhere. You can find this in many shave websites. Like, you can find this at West Coast Shaving, Magard Razors. Heck, you can even find it on Amazon or eBay. And you shouldn't have to pay more than, for a refill puck, you shouldn't have to pay more than $13 to $15. On average, you'll pay $13 to $15. You shouldn't have to pay more than $15 for this soap. It comes in a 4.4 ounce size puck. When you buy the soap by itself, there is an option where you can buy it with a ceramic dish made specifically for the soap. But I opted for just the budget entry refill puck, and I used the plastic soap container that it fits in from Magard Razors. Like the soap container I'm using, the whole of the soap costed me only $1.75 on Magard's. Okay, now we're going to go for the third and final pass against the grain. And that finishes the shaving part of the video. Now I'm just going to use my stiff dick pencil again to staunch some of the bleeding, which could have been due to my not paying attention or various factors. The blade may not have been a good match for this razor, but it worked well for me in most areas. Just in my trouble spots, like on my left side, got me 2 or 3 times. But live and learn. Again, I haven't used this razor in a few months, but I am happy I did use it because it is an excellent shaver. It is a good shaver once you get it down pat and you line the blade up correctly when you modify it. Okay, time to rinse off the face and apply the aftershave. Good shave so far. Now, time to put on a little vintage Wild Country circa 1968, 1969. I splash on this classic scent. Oh yeah, feel the burn, feel the burn. It definitely has that Pinot Clubman scent to it. Maybe a little bit less powdery, but otherwise, classic barbershop is what I smell with Wild Country. With Wild Country, you get a classic barbershop scent. Maybe not so heavy on the powdery scent, but it's good stuff. Well, everybody, have a good day and have a good shave, everyone. Goodbye.